Hi guys, hope everybody's doing well. I miss you. It's kind of weird in my classroom, it's empty and it echoes a little bit, and I never know if I'm talking loud enough or too loud to do instructional videos, so you'll notice that my volume on my voice changes. It's not you, it's me. I miss you guys. I hope everybody's doing okay. We're going to do our very first instructional video. We are actually backing all the way up to chapter 15. We skipped this first semester because this was going to be something we wanted to do second semester, and well, here we are. It's second semester, so let's do it. We're going to talk about things called quadrilaterals in this chapter. We're going to have 4 different sections, and we're going to go baby steps through these. Quadrilaterals are 4-sided figures with a convex polygon. Just pretend I didn't overshoot it. Convex just means that we don't have curves, that it doesn't like bow into itself. A concave polygon would be something like this, where we kind of had this dead space. That's not what we're looking at. We're looking at convex. So you guys are going to have in Google Classroom this amazing flow chart. If I can get it to focus, it will. Just be patient. This amazing flow chart. Well, I hope it'll focus. I'm going to keep going. This amazing flow chart with quadrilaterals. So I'm going to come up here. Oh, hey, there we go. We're getting better. And take a look at a parallelogram. So I'm going to draw a fairly large parallelogram up here on the top. And it looks like the more I draw, hopefully the better focus it has. Please don't stress. We are going to walk through all of this over several weeks. Like, we're going real slow. So I just want you to be able to visualize what these shapes look like, and then I'm going to walk you through how our assignment is going to look. So a parallelogram has opposite sides that are parallel, like tops and bottoms, lefts and right. We are going to have opposite angles being congruent, so those diagonal angles in there, and then these two. Consecutive angles are supplementary. I promise we're going to talk about that more, but today's not the day. The diagonals bisect each other, and I promise we're going to talk about that more, but today is not the day. All of these characteristics, they get carried down to the rectangle and the rhombus and the square. So technically a rectangle is also a parallelogram. A rhombus is also a parallelogram. But we're pretty comfortable with rectangles. When we look at rectangles, what's special about them? All the characteristics of a parallelogram plus 4 right angles. Diagonals are congruent. We'll talk about that more. When I think of a rhombus, I think of a slanty square, but it doesn't have to be slanty. That's just the way my mind goes, with all 4 sides being the same and some information about diagonals. Now the square. The square is like the most specific of them all. The square has to fit all of the requirements that come above it. Everything about a parallelogram, everything about a rectangle, everything about a rhombus. So the square is going to have 4 congruent sides. It's going to have 4 right angles, and everything else that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So don't stress, just getting some pictures in our brain and on our paper. Let's take a look at a very poorly drawn kite, because guys, just like triangles and circles, that's what I do best. So when we draw our kite, and I promise this is going to zoom a little bit better, the 2 top little small sides, they're a little bit better. And I apologize, this is the equipment that I've got, and that's much better. You just get used to it. Trust me, to try to get this thing to focus the other day, I had to hit it like 4 times, and then it finally worked. So we've got a kite where these 2 top little itty bitty sides are congruent, and the bottom long sides are congruent, and diagonals are perpendicular. I'm going to sketch those in. We're going to talk about that a lot more in the coming days. I'm actually going to draw an isosceles trapezoid over here, because this is usually what we're used to thinking of when we have trapezoids. It kind of looks like Snoopy's doghouse from Charlie Brown. Couple things. The base angles are congruent, so these 2 and those 2. And the diagonals, if I shoot them through, are congruent, and all of the things up above. But what's really special, we have a left and a right-hand side between the 2 bases that are going to be congruent for an isosceles trapezoid. We're going to have a set of parallel sides. Those are called the bases. So when I think about a trapezoid here, this guy is obviously not drawn perfectly or isosceles. Those sides aren't the same, but we've got these parallels. And here's another non-isosceles trapezoid. And we're going to learn about all of this. This is just the intro to be like, hey, this is what our pictures look like. So what I want to do next, oh no, did I leave my paper over there? What I want to do next is I want to walk through some of the problems on our assignment. But I've written on part of it, and I don't want you to see that. So we're going to take a look at, and this is kind of the very first page of your assignment, at the evens. And I'm going to skip the top two. The directions on the bottom half of the first page of your assignment state all possible names for each figure. Do you guys know how hard it is to talk to yourself in an empty room making a video? It's weird. So let's check this guy out. All possible names. I'm kind of feeling like this guy's a rectangle because of the two sets of congruent sides and the 4 right angles. But every rectangle is also a parallelogram. We can't call it a square because not all the sides are the same. And it's not a rhombus, well, because not all the sides are the same. I'm looking at number 8 here. I'm really wondering about number 8. I don't think that's a kite because these sides and those sides, I don't think they're congruent. That's not a parallelogram. It's not a square. It's not a rectangle. It's not a rhombus. I don't see anything parallel. So to me, this is just a quadrilateral. Like it's not a special one. Let's take a look at number 10. Number 10, I'm seeing 2 sets of parallels. So I'm going parallelogram. I don't know anything about the angles. I don't know anything about congruent sides. I'm stopping there. I'm now going to switch over to the next page of your assignment, number 12. All right, I see 4 congruent sides, and it wants the most specific name again. And I see right angles. And I see a hair that shed square. Number 14. Ooh, 2 sets of congruent sides, right angles, rectangle. Now let's take a look at 16, 18, and 20. And if I'm going too fast, hit pause. You guys have all the power here. It's kind of weird. On number 16, it says state all possible names. Well, I'm seeing double sets of congruences, but they're not all the same, so it's not a square. I'm thinking rectangle. But every rectangle is a parallelogram. And I guess I should probably call it a quadrilateral because that's everything. So on number 18, I'm going to go to a quadrilateral. Now, on this guy, I don't have any congruent sides. And Kite said that we needed some congruent adjacent sides. I don't think we have that. None of them are the same. I'm not seeing any congruent angles except these 2. I don't really see any parallels. Guys, this is just a quadrilateral. Let's move down to number 20. On number 20, I see 4 sets of congruent sides. So I need to decide if that's going to be the rhombus or the square. But none of them are 90 degrees. So I'm going rhombus. But every rhombus is also a parallelogram. And every parallelogram is a quadrilateral. And check out the angles. See how the diagonal angles are congruent? In a parallelogram, it says, opposite angles are congruent. It also says consecutive angles are supplementary. So if I take 2 next to each other, they make 180, and the next 2 make 180, and so on and so on. People, this is totally a parallelogram, and a rhombus, and a quadrilateral. So hopefully this first little intro video helps you to see what we're doing in the very first things that we're talking about with our quadrilaterals. We're going to spend separate days on each one of these, and it's going to take us hopefully until the end of the school, and we can come back and do some review together and make sure that we're all doing okay. My goal is to make my videos 10 minutes or less. I've got 7 minutes. I miss you guys. Please take good care of yourselves.